Hello everyone. Welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography. Students, while we prepare for UPSC Civil Service exam, sometimes the questions which are often asked are beyond the simple things which are mentioned in our textbook, or they are sometimes confined, or they are sometimes asked in such a way that we need to have a fair knowledge about geography of a certain region. Be it in terms of the rivers which were asked, be it in terms of lakes, be it in terms of some of the places, there is some kind of a correlation of geography of that particular state which we need to understand when we get to know about certain, certain kinds of things as you prepare for UPSC exam. Will you agree with this, right? I hope you all of you agree with this on this. So keeping this into consideration, what the thought I was having was, let me give you a brief idea. Say, I'm not going into details. It's not like once you read this, you will get to know about the entire state geography of a certain state, but definitely it will give you some kind of ideas. So what I'm trying to think about here is every day or once in a week. As of now, I wanted to have once in a week session about mapping series within in India. Say state-wise, say if it's a bigger state, I will take one, depending on the first state. If it is taking less time, I will take 2-3 states at one go, right? What I'm trying to give you is, I will try to give you some kind of an idea to my, through this video. Then I'll create some content out of that. It's not just only video. I'll be trying to create some content out of that. And I will try to provide it to you in my Telegram channel, right? So this, keeping this into consideration, I wanted to start with series on mapping series. The first one is what we have, the state-wise mapping of the Karnataka. So without much wastage of time, let us try to start with the state-wise mapping series. Right. Now Karnataka, as you know that it is an important southern state, if you see the boundaries of the state, now this becomes a very, very basic thing, the boundaries of a state, but just you need to have a basic idea of the boundaries. So Karnataka, bounded by Maharashtra on one side, Goa on another side, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. So you have all these states which are having a boundary, right? Then it is a tropical nation, it is a tropical country, tropical region rather, tropical state. So it is in the south of India, definitely it is a tropical state. Its climate would be more or less would be warmer. These are the basic things. Then as you move further, what about the physical division? Just like India, see, have a basic idea of every state. When you talk about Indian geography, what are the things you prepare? You prepare from the point of view of location. Then you will see the physiography. Then you will see the climate, rivers, soils, right? Then you will talk about the natural vegetation and wildlife, of course, soils and agriculture, and then you will find the minerals. Of course, I cannot give or will discuss the major important aspects of all these kind of things in our session, right? So when you have understood briefly the location, what possible questions they can ask you about the location? They can ask you about in general about the bordering states. So these are the bordering states. It has an important coastal region as well. Now with this, what is the physiography which you need to know? If you divide the regions of Karnataka, we can divide it into the coastal Karnataka, which is the coastal plains. Then the moment it is coastal plains, remember the things about west coast plains. As you study in the west coast plains, you will come to know that at this region, this is the region where they are very, very narrow. Very, very narrow. The coastal plains are very, very narrow. This is what we'll call it as the west coastal plains. Then One important thing they would be also calling it as, say here, the mountains, the Western Ghats, they will call it as Malnad region. So one is coastal plains, then two you have is the Malnad region. Malnad means nothing but mountainous region. Then the plains here, we'll call it as Maidan, right? It's very easy, no? Malnad, Maidan, it's the ground, right? So something like that, Maidan, we call it as the plains here. Malnad is the region of the Western Ghats mountains. Then one important point, do Eastern Ghats exist in Karnataka? Do Eastern Ghats exist in Karnataka? Come on, tell me. Do Eastern Ghats exist in Karnataka? Anyone? Can you mention whether Eastern Ghats passes through Karnataka? Eastern Ghats does pass through Karnataka. Yes, I hope you are following this. Eastern Ghats does pass through Karnataka. Yes. So if you see here, for example, you all remember that Nilgiris is the meeting point of Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats ecologically. Nilgiris is a region south of Karnataka having a border with Tamil Nadu exactly here. So in these places, you also find patches of Eastern Ghats part of the Karnataka. Majority of the mountains of Karnataka is part of the Western Ghats itself. Now, if you have this kind of topography, you have the West Coast plains. This one you will have the Karavali, which you call it as the coastal Karnataka. This is where you will find the beautiful centers of Udupi and all those kind of places. And this is where the coast plains will be very, very narrow, where you will find the topography of the land being very close to the mountain on another side and to the ocean. They are so narrow that within 60 kilometers, you are going all the way from the Arabian Sea towards the highest point or towards the mountainous topography of the Western Ghats or the Malnad, which they call here. So this basic idea you need to have, the Malnad and all those things. Then moving further, as you move to the next regions, if you talk about another important thing they would be always asking is about the highest peak of a state. Every state's highest peak we'll try to have an understanding. Mulayangiri is the highest peak in the region of Karnataka, where it is located on the Western Ghats, obviously Western Ghats, Chikmagalur, and the height is 1930 meters. If you see geographically, Karnataka and Kerala, altitude of the Western Ghats is high. For example, at Nilgiris, you will find that altitude of Western Ghats is increasing. Of course, that is Tamil Nadu. It is increasing, right? Dodabetta, almost 2595 meters. Whereas when you go to the Kerala, there you will find 2695 meters. Anemudi, highest peak of entire South India. So keeping this into considerations, you just need to remember that the high altitude of Western Ghats, both in Karnataka and Kerala, is high. Southern altitude is higher. Southern Western Ghats is higher altitude. That's what you need to remember. That is the reason why they have very good climate in terms of heavy rainfall. That is the reason why they have the evergreen forests. So with this knowledge, you need to know the evergreen forests. So you can see here, the type of vegetation you will find in here. Before I discuss remaining things, because you will find the Western Ghats here, along the Western Ghats, you will find evergreen forests. Of course, this is not the base. You will also finding the deciduous forest, which are represented in the slightly towards slightly yellow, slight yellow, not the dark yellow. This dark yellow is all the rain shadow region of the Western Ghats, which here it is a rain shadow region. The moment it is rain shadow, because you have the mighty topography of the mountains, rain shadow, vegetation would be what? Vegetation would be definitely deciduous. Or, or if it is further lesser, you will find that shrubs, bushes. So here, this is the bushes and shrubs. A lesser rainfall, this is where you will find the deciduous variety. Some kind of rainfall. You all know the Palghat gap. When I discuss Kerala, you will get the Palghat gap. This will have some kind of rainfall here, right? So further we'll discuss this. Moving back again. So as we are discussing about some idea about the topography, you also need to understand about the rivers. Which of the rivers flow through Karnataka? Does Godavari river flows through Karnataka? Yes. Does Krishna river? Yes. Does Kaveri river? Yes. But which is the most important river here? The Krishna and the Kaveri river systems. Godavari river system, just a segment of the Godavari river passes through Karnataka. So there is a segment of a Godavari river here, a Godavari river basin. A segment is passing through here. So the tributaries of Godavari. So Godavari river system. Manjira, there is a place Manjira. That's what it will passing here. Then when you talk about the Krishna, Krishna river originates from the Maharashtrian region, flows southwards, then moves across the Karnataka, and then it will move towards the Andhra Pradesh region, right? Around the Telangana Andhra Pradesh border, it will start moving into the Telangana Andhra Pradesh region. So this is the Krishna river. Then when you study about the history, don't you remember the Vijayanagara Empire? It's all about Tunga and the Bhadra Doab region, right? So if you see, this is the Tunga and this is the Bhima river Krishna and the Tungabhadra here. It's all about the accessibility of the agriculture region which they are worried about. The fight of the Vijayanagara Empire is all about accessibility of these. So you need to remember Tungabhadra, the place Dharwar, and all such kind of things. Then down south, you have river Kaveri moving here like this, Kaveri river. So Kaveri, the hills here, one important hill range you all need to remember about the Western Ghats is about the Babu Budan hills. Right? Babu Budan hills. Right. Then, when you talk about the river systems of Karnataka, you have the east flowing rivers. The east flowing rivers towards the Bay of Bengal, but you also have a west flowing rivers. One important river which you find a route important waterfalls here you have Sharavati river, where you find an important waterfalls called as the Jog Falls. Jog Falls mapping. They might ask you in terms of matching with respect to Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. They might ask you. So Jog Falls is part of Karnataka. So route map. You need not remember the route map. This is for when you wanted to go as part of tourism. So maybe you will do it as part of Bharat Darshan later on. Presently, don't worry about this map. Just note to remember that Jog Falls, Sharavati river. Then, as you move further, what you need to remember about the vegetation? Just I have given a brief idea about the climate. On the western side, it's a tropical climate, is mostly tropical in nature. Whereas when you talk about the impact of rainfall, just like India, western slopes, more rainfall, evergreen forest, rain shadow region, deciduous. So this is where you will find the bushes and the shrubs. In between here some rainfall, that is why it is a deciduous variety. You can see here grasslands and shrubs which are represented like dark yellow. The dark yellow talks about grasslands and shrubs. So as you move from the west towards the east, the rainfall will decrease and definitely you will find every aspect of vegetation even in Karnataka. Remember, as part when you have more grasslands, you will always have more wildlife. So this region is known for wildlife. One such wildlife which is linking with respect to the coterminus with respect to the region of Tamil Nadu is the Nilgiris. So you can see here, it's an area of the entire region here. So Nilgiris are having even a base even with respect to the Bandipur of region of Karnataka, so as Silent Valley of Kerala as well as things. So I want you to remember about the Bandipur. So some important national parks which are here, if you wanted to see here, you can see here down south, very nearer with the Karnataka Kerala border, Karnataka Kerala Tamil Nadu border, you will find an important national park called Bandipur. I want you to remember about the Bandipur National Park. Then another important thing, very near to it, after Bandipur, very near to it, Nagarhole. So Bandipur, very near to it, Nagarhole. All these are part of the, it is part of the Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve. Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve. So this Bandipur, Nagarhole becomes very important. Then important national park you also have is about the Kudremukh. Kudremukh, resembling the shape of a horse. Kudremukh. This is important national park. You have so many other one, the Anshi one and all those kind of things. But most prominently Bandipur, Nagarhole, Kudremukh, important national parks, so as even the tiger reserves. Then moving forward, what more you can remember about this? If you see, I think among the tiger reserves, I have given the entire tiger reserves data here. More than that here, you see Bilgiri Ranganatha temple, BR temple, Bhadra, Bandipur, Dandeli, Anshi is one. But whatever the ones, the three things, Kudremukh, Bandipur, as well as the Nagarhole, these are important. Then associated with that, then another one, Bannerghatta is one more place, Bannerghatta. So all these are some of the prominent places in the regions of Karnataka. Right. Moving forward, see, when you study from the environment point of view, this maybe becomes important. See, I think if I am not wrong, they once asked about one of the swamp deer, Barasinga, which is located, the swamp deer Barasinga is prominently found in which of the following places? Prominently found. The options, if you observe, so many options are having such kind of thing. Two options you will always find close proximity, but prominently found, you see that Madhya Pradesh is having Kanha National Park and Barasinga or the swamp deer happens to be the state animal of that state. Definitely it will be having more. So sometimes when you know the state animal of a region which is prominently found in one of the place, it becomes really important. And please remember, the national parks and the wildlife becomes very important to us because you are having this prelims exam as part of the exam, which is also the same prelims exam for the forest services. A special emphasis on wildlife and forest is always has to be done. Without this, your preparation is incomplete. So keeping this into considerations, you need to know the state animals and all these kind of things. So what is the state animal here? Elephant. State animal, elephant. And you have this bird, Indian roller, which we call it as. You have the lotus. You also have the sandalwood species. the sandalwood, I think deciduous, sandalwood, virappan, smuggling, all happen here, right? Sandalwood, if you see from that perspective, you need to remember about the sandalwood, all of you, right? Then what more you have? What about the state flower? Lotus you have discussed. The state tree you have discussed. These are the basic ideas which we need to remember about the mappings. Then as you move forward, you can remember, ignore the fish and the butterflies unless and until they are prominently in use, we need not prepare. Then as you move, if you talk about recently, current affairs, the 5 Ramsar sites which were added, you have 3 such places in Karnataka. You have the Aganshini Estuary, Magadi Kere Conservation Reserve, and Ankas Mudra Bird Conservation Reserve. Now, these 3 places, because it were recently added as part of the 5 Ramsar sites in 2024, this year prelims, you just need to remember from the mapping point of view, which of the following are an estuary. Maybe they can have a correlation with respect to this. You need to remember that. Otherwise, you can ignore, right? These are the prominent things. Then when you talk about the ports of another important thing, if you talk about Karnataka, ports, you have one important port here, Mangaluru or the Mangaluru port, one important port, and there is another minor port, you find the Karwar port. So 2 important ports which are part of this are these are what? Majority of the trade, be it export of the iron ore to regions of China and all, or you have an important industrial center, iron and steel plant, the Vishwesvaraya steel plant. It exports its finished goods sometimes toward these places. Recently, it is also known for exporting about so much automobile industries all the way from Karnataka towards Africa. We use the Mangalore port. You all know the Western Ghats, spices. It is very dominantly known for spices, coffee, tea plantations, mostly with coffee. Majority of the coffee is from Karnataka. We export via these ports. These ports are also an important center which we need to remember. So that is about the things. Now I understand you got a basic idea about mapping. You also need to supplement with respect to we need to supplement this with respect to the data which is needed, some kind of subjects knowledge studies which we also need to study. So along with this, I'll also giving you some content in my Telegram channel about Karnataka, where you can have that access at one place. Yes. So this is the unique step I'm trying to take. With time, maybe in the next 1-2 months before our prelims, we'll try to give a coverage of all the major states in India with respect to the important mapping associated places out of every state. That is about this mapping series. Hope you all have liked this session. You got a basic idea of what is the topography and the mapping of a state and how you can utilize this knowledge into the next level. We'll have some kind of understanding as such. I hope this knowledge and the series and the content I will be providing you on Karnataka, as you read, you will have some understanding about that. As you read that, later on, as you discuss and get to know, you will get much kind of confidence. That is about Karnataka. Hope you all have understood this. Until we meet next time, this is Venkatesh signing off. Thank you. Any further kind of content wise, what you need with respect to this mapping, please let me know. Accordingly, we will be providing to you, right? So you can always mention in my Telegram channel about what further things you can mention. The comment section is always open to you. You can mention to me. I would be seeing that, and accordingly, I'll be giving you the content. Right. That's it for today. We'll meet again tomorrow with a new topic. Thank you.